Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. Back to Mars, back to Gale Crater, and we are looking at this image, which is from Sol 372. This is the Jet Propulsion Mars Science Laboratory mission here, and we have this image. Now, it looks like a pretty innocuous, fairly boring selection of small and slightly larger rocks here, which is exactly what it is, but this particular rock down here has something on it which looks interesting. And before I go any further, I will give full credit here to Michael Miller, who actually sent this clip in to my Facebook, that's the word I'm looking for, sorry, to my Facebook group, ArtAlienTV Mars Magazine. He sent this in back in January, and he sent a clip. So if any of you guys out there find anything that you think may be a fossil or a skull or a wall or a building or anything like that in any of these Mars images or Moon images, send it, or just come onto Mars Magazine. You can join for free. You can and just post a clip on the page, and if it's something I think is worthy of further investigation, I will have a look at it myself, and then perhaps make a video of it like I'm doing now. So there we go. So full credit to Michael Miller here. Thanks for sending this one in. Here's the rock in question, and there is the possible crab or whatever thing this might be on the side of it here. And it's actually fairly clear, even though these images are somewhat out of focus and they're downgraded and distorted and have the horrible orange filter over them, which basically destroys any shadow detail and sharpness and anything like that. So there we have it. Yeah, I'll crack on with it because I don't want to take too long with this one. I've also got some other possible examples of similar things to show you very quickly as well. Let's go to the folder. So this is the part of the image. Links will be below as usual, so you can just download the image and have a look yourself. And it's just in this bottom right corner. Here's the folder. I've already done some clips. Here's here's the raw image first. Let's have a look at that. It looks fine until you zoom in, as with all these images. And here's that rock there, and you can see it just here. It looks like a sort of crab or similar shaped fossil on the edge of this rock here. Okay, on the side of the rock, I should say. So here's a close-up clip. Now when you get in too close, it actually just gets really blurry, so step back a bit. I always say this, but it is important, if you go too close to things when they're already out of focus and blurry, it doesn't help. So you zoom back, sit back a little bit, give it a bit of space around the edges. If you're going to take a clip of something, don't clip it really close, clip it with a bit of give around the edges, okay? Because otherwise it will, on the screen, it will always just look too close. So there we have it. I mean, what can I say? Even in the raw image here, which this hasn't been enhanced in any way, you can see what it looked like. I'm not saying these are eyes, but they kind of like two dots here, and we have leg-like structures come down here. Now coming back to this now, because obviously this has been on my desktop for a while. Because this was put up in sort of late January, and I've been doing other things recently. And coming back to it, it kind of looks almost mechanical, because these if you look at these three prongs sticking out here, it almost looks like an electrical plug of some sort. Maybe it's not a crab or a fossil at all. Now the problem is, of course, when you enhance these images, of course, the problem with JPEGs that they give us, when you enhance them, they tend to break up, and when you sharpen an image like this, you get all these kind of square, blocky kind of effects. Okay, so that kind of squares everything off. In reality, I would imagine this thing is a bit more rounded than it actually looks here. Let's go a bit closer. Okay, because what you're looking at here is the actual structure of the photograph, because we're going in pretty close here, and you can see that even these rounded objects like these rocks here have got sort of jagged kind of square parts to them. Now that's because of the JPEG format, and when you sharpen up a JPEG, that's what happens. They just kind of break up. This is right on the edge of breaking up, this picture, because I've sharpened it. I often what I do is I blur the image first to get rid of that kind of blockiness, and then I sharpen it after. But if you go too far, it totally kind of breaks up into these kind of patterns here. And you often see this where people are zoomed in too far, and they say, oh look, I found some intelligent structures here, but actually it's just where the image is broken up. That's how the JPEG format works, unfortunately, and this is why they give us JPEGs, I'm sure, and not TIFF images like they should, or PNG images, which are much better and don't break up so much because they're not compressed. So there we have it. There, is it a crab, or is it a plug or some kind of electrical item that's encrusted in the side of this rock here, which may have been a lump of clay or sediment at one point. A lot of this was underwater, so this may well be a fossil. And the reason it looks angular, like I said, is that it actually is the way that the JPEG is distorting the shape slightly. Okay, so it does look a bit kind of angular. You can see these angles in here. But those prongs are pretty prominent. Prongs or legs, whatever. So what is it? Is it another crab? Is it an electrical piece of equipment that was chucked in the water and then stuck in this mud here, which then later solidified into rock as the water dried out? Like many things we've seen. A lot of things are just lying on the ground, but a lot of things are stuck to rocks as well. And that's exactly what I would expect a sea creature or aquatic creature to do. They often stick to sides of rocks, and when they eventually die, the shell may get left behind, or they may fossilize or whatever, if the conditions are right. Mud fossils obviously form over years and years, and then it hardens and dries out, and then you end up with a fossil. So there we go. What else can I say about that? Let me show the other enhanced clips I've got. I basically made a montage kind of thing here, a little mini montage with a raw image, and it's pretty clear. Even though it's small, this thing is probably only less than an inch across, and around about an inch. Or less, I don't know, maybe only a centimetre. It's actually fairly clear in the raw image, which is why I liked it, because often people send stuff in and you really can't see anything. If you can't see anything in the raw image, it's probably not there. But of course these are heavily damaged, as I keep saying, filtered, partially destroyed, out of focus pieces of crap images. So you can be forgiven for that. It's not our fault. NASA seem to think it's appropriate to downgrade already low quality images for some reason, small low quality images, and it's actually a complete joke. But there we go. So there it is. I don't know if that looks any clearer there than it did in the other image. Let me flip through, because some of these I think are, yeah. There's the raw image. There's the final one. Yeah, that's the bitmap. Okay, so that is slightly sharper, but not a great deal of detail to be seen there. But those three prongs do look interesting to me, which says to me this is either an intelligent structure that was made and then fell in the mud and solidified and dried out, or it was a fossil of a creature. So there we go. And while we're on the subject, there are a couple of other things which were similar, which I published in the past. I'm only going to show you a quick snapshot of each one, because I will put links at the end of the video, as I always do, to these and any other similar finds, so you can compare them back to back for proper investigation. Okay, so there was this one, which was the Mars tiny insect pupa R2D2 nanofossil. Right, okay, I call it a nanofossil, but actually it's not microscopic, it's just very small. And this was spotted by James Tracy from UFAH. Great find, this one. I'm really surprised this didn't get more views, actually. This was an interesting one, but this is really small. This is probably only a couple of millimeters in size. You can't even see it initially. How he spotted this, I really don't know. The guy must have amazing eyesight, far better than mine. So well done to James Tracy for this one. This goes back a good couple of years now. April, 2016, and in fact it may have even been spotted earlier than that. I think this may be the second upload of it that I did. I don't know. So I'll just play that through quickly. I'll just show you a little bit of this one because we don't want to take too long here. Here it is. Now this is also on the edge or the side of a rock, which has got lots of small little pebbles kind of stuck to it. This was probably underwater also, and we have this thing, which when I first saw it I thought, yeah, maybe not, but when I enhanced it I was like, whoa, hang on, what is that? Now this looks to be some kind of fossilized creature, possibly another mollusk, or perhaps a crab-like creature, or possibly even an insect. But it's a bit of a stretch. It's hard to say, even though this image is a much higher quality image to work from, because this was taken by the Mali cam, which is not the it's the one on the end of the arm on the Rover. Okay, now the Mali cam is designed really for taking close-ups right on the ground of such things as this, and for gathering geological information and detail, real detail. Okay, so it's a close-up camera, but sometimes they do use it to take panoramic shots as well. Some of these Rover selfies are often done with the arm cam, which is what I call it, and then they edit the arm out, which they did one recently actually. So they do doctor these images because obviously they edit them. But yeah, here we go. This looks like some kind of insect pupae, pupa or pupae, whatever you want to call them. Perhaps this may have hatched out at one point, or could have hatched out into a butterfly or some kind of weird kind of insect or something like that. Absolutely no idea, but it does seem to have large eyes here and some kind of a thorax here. So who knows? It's too small really to be sure. So I'll put a link to that at the end so you can have a proper look at that. It's pretty cool looking, I think. I still think that there's something interesting there. And there's also this one, Strange Martian Critter, the Blob. Coral, mollusk or fungi. Now, this was also 2016, about a couple of years ago. So this one, other people have spotted as well. I think Martine Graney from UFAH has done a couple of clips of this and has enhanced it as well. And this is quite clear and is a bit larger and is on this sort of angled piece of rock here, which may actually in fact be a piece of petrified wood, not even rock. So let's see the zoom in now. You can see these fine, the really fine layers and strata in this so-called rock here, which actually looks like wood grain to me. It may well be, and this may well be some kind of fungi growing, or fossilized fungi that was growing on the side of this petrified wood. And just really interesting, this one. I know it just looks like a kind of weird blob, but if you see a weird blob like this on Earth, which is that sort of yellowy, bright colour, creamy white yellowy sort of colour, it's usually fungi. But the weird thing is, it seems to have an eye and a nose, almost like a rodent. I don't think it is a rodent. That's just me seeing animals everywhere. But it does have some interesting structure to it, and it doesn't look native to the rock that it's on. In other words, it looks alien to the actual surrounding rock. In other words, it's probably the remains of some kind of critter. Now, whether that was, here we are. It has a brain-like structure and is completely foreign to the rock in both colour and texture. Absolutely. You've got this lateral strata in this so-called rock behind it, and this thing is completely different. And I've enhanced it there. Now, this may well be brain coral. It could even be some kind of type of sea creature or underwater creature that has this brain-like structure to it. Now, brain coral does that. Well, that is exactly why it's called brain coral. And I have found other examples of what looks like brain coral not far from here. So I'll put links to that in as well at the end, so you can see that as well and compare it, because there are some quite cool similarities going on here. So there we have it. We've got the possible insect pupa there, maybe an insect or some very tiny crab-like creature. Who knows? There's no legs here, but there seems to be something on the edge there, like a straight structure to it. Who knows what that is? You got the blob. And we have this new one, which was spotted by Michael Miller. So thanks again to Michael Miller for sending this in. Like I said, if you have anything similar, as long as it's clear enough to see in the unenhanced image, as long as there's something there to see already, then it's probably good enough for me to do a video of. Okay, so I can't promise that I will do a video, because often these things aren't clear enough. So if you find anything, come to ArtAlienTV Mars Magazine and just join up. I'll join you up straight away, and just post it on the page, and I'll come back to it and have a look and take it from there. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. More links coming up in a minute. A couple of clips I will put in first in a few seconds. Please share on social media and give the thumbs up. I will see you soon.